Beaststar is wild, it's even in the title of this video, but why is it so interesting and why do people call it the furry anime? And most importantly, is it good? Well, that's why I'm here, to watch the stuff you wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. But of course, who the hell made it? Back in 2016, the first chapter of Beaststar's manga came out, made by some girl who I can't pronounce her name. I like to find out why people make shows, but this one ain't too deep. I couldn't find too much on it. She said Disney inspired her to make it. I don't see it. You probably ask, what is Beaststar? Well, IMDb says, an horde of human-like animals, a reclusive wolf's complicated relationship with a kindly rabbit is tested by a classmate's murder, a charismatic Dia's influence, and his own begrudging predatory instincts. And what they mean by murder, they mean some carnivores have been eating some other people. Huh, I haven't seen that anywhere. But what are the themes of Beaststar? It can touch on such topics like instincts of human nature, what makes a human truly human, or in the show's context, what really is the difference between someone who is more like a beast and someone who isn't, or an world where some people can't be themselves, stuff like that. Besides that, the soundtrack is straight fire. I even used it in the Undertale video. When it was revealed the show would get an anime, people worried that it being CGI would hurt the amazing artwork done for the manga, and the CGI suits it perfectly, but something that I thought I was just nitpicking at first soon became something I couldn't overlook. The use of 2D animation as well. Yes, the CGI is great, but something that definitely came from the budget cuts was the 2D animation. There would be a whole section where characters would talk and they would not move whatsoever. It was so stilted, it looked like Family Guy, and it was a total mood shift after the very expressive and well-animated CGI. Hey, the most uncommon ginger, are you forgetting something? Oh, thanks for reminding me. This show is not Zootopia and has some explicit stuff. Nothing I couldn't show on YouTube, they never actually do it, but they tried twice. But we can come back on that. Something that I don't know I can show on YouTube is some of the action scenes. It is a shonen, so of course there's some action, and it's pretty good. It gets pretty buddy at times, and just like most of the show, it's really well animated. But what about the characters? Well, you got a couple. Like it said in the summary, the main character is a wolf named Muragoshi, who can't talk to a woman to save his life, and is socially awkward. There's also the love interest, a bunny called Haru, who does not say for things with a lot of people, because as a bunny, people would treat her like a baby. But in the bed, she felt warm, like she was respected, or in other words, she probably has multiple STDs. There's also Lewis, who is the Beaststar. If you're wondering what is a Beaststar, pretty much you're the shining example of what everyone should be like. They never explain if this is only in their store or worldwide. Lewis is also in the drama club with Legoshi. Something not so subtly said is that everyone in the drama club has a bad past. We can get to Lewis later for that weird thing. They never touch on Legoshi's past. Maybe it's in season 2. Now, for the context of the video, I didn't read the manga, and I watched the anime in dub. And when you gotta do it in English, it's important the voice acting is good. Now, I can't compare it to the original, but it's pretty good. All the voices fit the characters and sounds pretty good. Hey, the most uncommon ginger, for talking all that stuff about it in the beginning, this video has been pretty positive. Oh, come on, can't you be patient? I guess it's time to talk about the actual episodes. There aren't any filler episodes, so guess that's good. But the episodes are hit or miss with animation, story, and so on. For example, in episode 3, after Lewis messed up his foot for practicing for the play, some tiger will play him. But during the play, he wants the spotlight, so he gets some rabbit blood to get hyped up. Legoshi doesn't like this, and they have a fight on stage, but Lewis comes in and acts like it was all planned. Good animation, good story, good fight scene, good episode, right? But there's still like 3 episodes or so that are just decent. But now we're going into deep spoiler stuff. I recommend you watch the show just because of how interesting it is, and how weird it can be. Alright, let's see how good I can simplify this. In the first episode, the first time Haru and Legoshi meet was actually when Legoshi almost killed her, but he doesn't tell her late into the season. He also didn't find out her name until like episode 4. Off topic, but side counters kinda sucked. Until like episode 4 or 5 anyway. Lewis also does the naughty with Haru. Lewis is in love with Haru, but he has an arranged marriage going on, so he can't do that. And it's also not too good for his reputation, like I said a second ago. There's some side counters, but only 2 are important. There's Jack, who's been friends with Legoshi for their whole life. He's not super important though. The other one named Juno is though. She's a new student. She really wants to get down with Legoshi, and as Legoshi and Haru get closer, she tries to tell Haru that she can...
Do you actually believe that you can make Legoshi happy?
She is a bitch. Like, actually is a bitch. I don't like her. Anyway, the drama club has to prepare for the festival. Just like in every anime like this, a few of the carnivores have to go to the city. Only carnivores can go, though, because everyone is dying. Anyway, they get lost and run across the black market. Lou said, don't go to the black market. And of course, they go to the black market. Now, the black market is a place for carnivores to get real animal meat, because they can't live on a vegan diet, but it's still illegal to do. But the tiger that eats the rabbit's blood earlier tried to convince Legoshi to buy some of them. But it doesn't sit right with Legoshi because, he kinda wants to get down with a bunny without wanting to eat her. So he runs down the black market and passes out. The panda finds him and asks him some questions and says, IDK man, you just gotta eat her pussy, but don't eat her pussy, In the beginning of the next episode, there's a Bambi reference, which does not make sense in the context of the sword, but whatever. Also, Aoshi runs into Lewis after he leaves Haru. He tries to hide it, but they both know what be happening up there. Oh my, would you look at the time, I have to talk about Lewis's dark backstory. Pretty much Lewis has some bad dreams about his past. He was a prisoner at the black market just waiting to be sold, but then a deer came along and bought him, not to eat, but to raise as his son. Then we cut to present day as some people try to jump Lewis, but Legoshi stops them. Apparently now people don't like Lewis because racism. Legoshi was going to confess his feelings, but it seems Haru has been kidnapped by some gang, and they are going to eat her. The man finds out and he tells Lewis not to mess with that sheep. Legoshi tries to get him to save her with him. He says no, and then they fight. Legoshi finds the panda from before, and they run up into that place like Rambo. Really good fight scenes, stuff that I can't show here, and Legoshi saves the day, like every shonen main character. But for that same reason, he left the villain. As he slowly points his gun to Legoshi's head, the Chad Lewis pulls up and gets him. Also something that I can show, but the reason he's here is because it's his revenge, as this was people that locked him up before he got bought. After that, Legoshi and Haru get a hotel because they can't get back to school, but he's about to eat her, but he almost eats her, so they don't do it. But they really like to tease, though. After getting back to school, they get into a fight about how this won't work, but they say they will figure it out. Wow. That was something. I highly recommend you still watch this show, but in the end, the intro is better than the show. Whoa, slow your horses. Just because the reviews over don't mean I have a few more things to say. I'm going to do more anime reviews, so I thought it was right if I had a tier list of every anime I review. So, I think even though Beaststar does a lot of things right, overall, it's kinda mid. It's like a 5 or 6 out of 10. Now, I do think that the animation and soundtrack is really good, but that doesn't save my personal opinion on it. I think the messages are good, but I just didn't enjoy it, and I guess it wasn't for me. But I did mention the soundtrack earlier in the review, and I think I understated it because it might be the best soundtrack I've seen in a show because it always sets the mood so well and perfectly. I haven't really seen it anywhere else, and I think that's probably the best attribute of the show. But overall, I do think it stays in mid, unless Season 2 picks it up. But it might be a little bit before we get that. because I think I deserve a break from Beastars for a little bit. But the next anime you can expect will be Assassination Classroom. I finally get to talk about an anime that's actually good.